Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope that you are all good. In today's video we have day 3 of the Charlie's Nail Art Advent Calendar. I really hope you are enjoying these videos. Thank you all so much for all the comments and all the likes etc that you are leaving. I'm really feeling the love. So let's get into the bag and take a look at what we have for December the 3rd. And also for today's video, we're going to be working with acrylic. So I hope you're enjoying the mix of acrylic and gel polish. I'm going to try and do some builder gel and poly gel designs as well, just so that there's a bit of a variety. So here for today, we have these beautiful snowflake water decals. There's also some Christmas trees, candy canes and stockings. So it's a perfect mix for Christmas. Like I said, for today's design we're going to be using acrylic, so I'm using my CJP acrylics today. Now this is Aqua Marine, but on camera it looks a lot more of a vibrant blue than what it is in real life. It is a little bit lighter than what was showing up on camera. I did play around with my lighting, but I just could not get it to show up as true to what it is in real life, which is really annoying because it's such a beautiful colour. Now to start off with, I'm going to be doing an ombre. So I'm coming in with the gorgeous Aqua Marine, placing it down at roughly the middle of the nail, and I'm going to blend it back whilst that acrylic is still nice and wet so that it blends back nicely. Whenever you're doing an ombre, you don't want there to be any kind of harsh line. So I always like to get the blend done first. Sometimes I forget and it's okay, you can work with it, but it's a lot easier to get that harsh line blended out first. Then I'm just pulling that colour down towards the tip of the nail. Now I am going to come in with another bead just to build up the colour a little bit more. It was a little bit patchy at the very tip of the nail, so I just come in with another small bead and patting that from side to side, blending it back as well so that there's a nice smooth consistency throughout the acrylic. And then I'm pulling that down towards the very tip of the nail, exactly the same as before, using really light feathery strokes just to make sure that that acrylic has been all applied nice and evenly. And I'm doing my best to keep my side walls nice and neat as well. Now I have left this video in real time so you can see how slow or quick I work. Let me know what you guys think of that in the comments below. Like, do you prefer the videos that are sped up or do you prefer real time? Now I did leave the Aqua Marine to set before coming in with the beautiful Slush Fairy. Slush Fairy is one of my favourite pink acrylics from CJP. I love that it's quite a pale, transparent kind of acrylic with the glitter in it. Depending on how you work with it, you can get it to look more opaque, but I love it because it's so easy to work with, especially when you are creating any kind of ombre. So I've picked up my first bead of acrylic, placing that down just away from what would be the cuticle area, and then I'm going to push it up into that cuticle area. Sorry, can't get my words out. So as you can see, I'm just very gently tapping it into place. I'm going to leave the bulk of that bead of acrylic where I've placed it down and just gently feather down the top of that bead, just so that we're not pulling too much of the acrylic away, because I realistically want a lot of that product to stay where I've placed it. As you're blending this acrylic down, you'll see all those beautiful shimmery glittery pieces start blending down over the Aqua Marine, and it creates such a gorgeous fade. I am going to come in with another bead of acrylic because, like I said, this colour can look a little bit transparent, so you do sometimes find that you need to build it up a little bit. So I'm placing that next bead of acrylic down pretty much directly on top of the previous bead, blending it back slightly, and then I'm just doing exactly the same as before and just pulling it very gently down the nail. I'm also being really careful that I don't take my brush all the way down to the very tip of the nail, because I didn't want the very tip of the nail to have those sparkles. I wanted it to gently fade out into that completely pure blue tip. Now I do like to faff around with my acrylic a little bit. I just like to get everything as smooth as I possibly can. And just how beautiful does the Slush Fairy look over the blue. Now I am going to come in and encapsulate. So I'm encapsulating using my CJP crystal glass. Now I'm going to pick up a medium-sized bead of acrylic and place it down roughly where that blend is. So where the Slush Fairy meets the Aqua Marine. Now I'm going to place that down, push in the sides, and then I'm going to blend it back over the Slush Fairy. Now I don't need a very thick encapsulation layer because both of these colours are core colours, so they already have strength and structure properties. But I do need to encapsulate so that we don't file into the blend. So that's why I'm not worrying about applying too much of a thick encapsulation layer, because if you were wearing these, you would have your clear acrylic base and then the colours are strength powders. Also, I'm working on a display tip, so I don't need to build as much of an apex as I would if I was working on myself. But I'm just making sure that there's a nice smooth layer of acrylic, that there's minimal lumps and bumps in it, because then there's going to be less finish filing to do. The very tip of the nail did look a little bit thin, so I did decide to come in just with another teeny tiny bead, just so I could make sure the acrylic application was even, and then I could get a nice shape when it comes to filing. So I'm placing that down at the very tip and then blending it back. Always using quite light feathery strokes, cleaning up the sidewalls, because if you've got no acrylic bulking up your sidewalls, again, you're going to have less finish filing to do. Off camera, I then filed the nail and just look how beautiful it's looking. I'm then going to come in with my Kiki London foil gel and pop down a layer of foil gel. Now I'm applying the foil gel, however, I'm not actually going to be using this to apply any nail foils. I want to come in and add some silver leaf, but I didn't encapsulate it in the acrylic, which is what I would normally do. And I wanted to make sure it would stick and hold in place. So I reached for my foil gel and it worked perfectly for this job. So I've cured that foil gel for 30 seconds, and then this is the silver leaf that I have. This is also from Charlie's Nail Art. Now once you've cured your foil gel, it does leave you with a super tacky layer, so it's perfect for sticking down any kind of nail art that you want to hold in place before top coating. Now I'm taking the silver leaf and it's quite fiddly to work with and a little bit delicate, and I'm just trying to break it up till I've got the rough size that I want it to be. So I'm holding the larger end and just pulling off any pieces just to make it that little bit smaller. You can save all of those smaller pieces. I pop them all back in my pot, and you will find uses for them when you are doing nails. Then I've placed that down onto that tacky cured foil gel, and I'm just using my Kiki London silicone tool just to smooth it down and to make sure it's really stuck down. This way it's then going to encapsulate with the top coat perfectly. So I decided to come in with another piece. I'm going to be using these two pieces of foils as a background for my snowflakes, because I wanted to kind of create a icicle 3D effect, and I quite liked how it turned out. It looked a little bit different to what I was expecting, but I did think it looked really pretty, especially for winter. But as always, let me know what you think in the comments below. So again, just placing that silver leaf down on the nail and then smoothing it out. I keep going to call it gold leaf because I hardly ever use silver leaf. I always seem to reach for gold. Also, by the way, I hope you are all doing okay and keeping safe and well. Are you all in the full swing of Christmas just yet? We've been watching Christmas films all day today, and I have to say it's made me feel so festive. So here we have the water decals. I've cut out the two larger snowflakes that I want to use first of all, and I'm going to pop these in some room temperature water. Now I found these needed around 20 to 30 seconds to soak for them to easily slide off of the backing paper. So here I'm just taking my tweezers and gently sliding that from that white backing paper. And then I'm going to place that down directly on top of the silver leaf. So I'm just trying to line it up, getting it into place, because sometimes once you've placed them down, they can be a little bit tricky to move around. And I really loved how it looked. Now it doesn't pop too much. It would pop a lot more over a white base, but I love the look that it gives off with the silver behind the water decals. So I'm going to do the same again on this one here. So again, just trying to get it into place before I actually touch it down, because where we've got that foil gel there, it will really grab it into place. Always make sure when you place your water decals down that you smooth out any creases or bubbles before you come in and top coat, just because the smoother your water decal is, the nicer and the more appealing to the eye it looks in the design. So just spend a little bit of time smoothing everything out. Now I then also decided to add on 2 more of the smaller snowflakes just up and around that Slush Fairy pink glittery area, just because they would pop a little bit more because they're over the lighter base. So I'm going to pop one down in the cuticle area to begin with. I like to be quite careful when I'm placing my water decals down, so you don't want to dig too much into them with your tweezers. That is why I always prefer to use the silicone tool. So any of you guys that are watching, do you have either of the Charlie's Nail Art Advent calendars? If you do and you are unboxing them or doing daily designs or any designs with them, do let me know your Instagram in the comments below, because I would love to see how different people are using each item to create different designs. On the Charlie's Nail Art group, I think I see someone use the turquoise glitter in a completely different way to what I did, and it's always fun to see the same nail art item used in different ways. So yeah, pop your Instagram below if you'd like me to give you a follow. So now I'm going to come in and top coat. I'm top coating with my Kiki London No Wipe Rubber Top Coat. Whenever I'm top coating over any kind of water decals, foils, silver leaf, any of that kind of on top nail art, I really love to use this top coat. Because it's a rubber top coat, it's that little bit thicker and it just seals everything in perfectly and leaves a really nice, smooth, shiny surface. Now because it's a rubber top coat, it's a little bit thicker, so I do like to run my brush over a few times just to get that nice smooth surface. Then we're going to pop this in to cure for 60 seconds, and this, guys, is the finished result. It looks super wintry. It's kind of giving me Elsa vibes, but I hope you all enjoyed watching. If you did, then please do give the video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would absolutely love it if you did. I shall see you all again in tomorrow's video. Lots of love. Bye bye.